I don't see the point in scouting people for something if you don't want them on the show. I was not made to feel like I was special. Just because you get scouted doesn't mean that you're going to get on the show. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as you can tell by the title, it's gonna be juicy. So this year has been a bit of a weird one, and I kind of feel like I've lived in a little bit of secrecy since March. In this industry, there is no point talking about anything until it actually happens. I was scouted for the X Factor 2018 and also for The Voice 2019, because The Voice doesn't go out until January, I believe. Can't really remember how much I have been sworn to secrecy, but... So I'll start off by talking about the X Factor because that's on at the minute. In the past, I auditioned for X Factor via video, Britain's Got Talent, I went there, and The Voice's first series. Auditioned when I was 16, 17. Among the kind of singer-songwriter, artist community, these shows are kind of frowned upon. They kind of come across that you've sold out. It's just not something that you tend to see singer-songwriters going on. A lot of your rights are taken away, there's a lot of 360 deals are thrown in, and you don't seem to have a lot of control. It just doesn't seem to have a good name among our community. I tried them all though, years ago, and then come March this year, I had an email from a talent scout asking if I'd ever thought about auditioning for the X Factor. They said how it is changing this year. Last year the top two were artists and singer-songwriters, so they're kind of gearing up more towards singer-songwriter route and the artist route as opposed to the same old stuff that has been before. That is how it was sold to me. Oddly enough, I'd thought about doing Britain's Got Talent as a laugh to see if I got anywhere, but I never did, didn't get around to it. So it was kind of funny that this came up. Definitely hadn't thought about the X Factor. Hadn't watched it in years, probably since like One Direction or maybe one after that. I can't, it's been a while. So I spent a lot of time looking into it, watched a fair few of the old auditions, tried to watch a few videos on here, and I thought, you know what, let's just go for it, it's exposure, what have I got to lose? So I said yes, and then they came back to me and I had to fill in like a questionnaire thing, just saying a bit about myself, about what song I would do, backstories, blah 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 blah, and then it would have been up to the producers to get in touch with me if they liked me and wanted me to come and audition in front of them. I was waiting, kind of thought nothing of it then. I've just assumed that I didn't have it because I thought, what are the chances? Probably not got it. And then I get a phone call from Thames TV and they wanted me to come and audition in front of the producers, and I was like, okay, you know, you kind of start to think then, oh my god, you know, my girls in Little Mix, they got somewhere. Naturally, you start to think about the bigger picture. You have to think about going all the way, otherwise there's no point in auditioning if you can't imagine yourself going the full way in the competition. If you had an opportunity to perform your song in front of millions of people, would you do it? And the answer is yes. So that was my reasoning behind doing it. So I went along to this audition and they said to me that it was going to be not like the ones you see on TV, it's going to be a lot more civilised. There's only 10 people being auditioned at my time slot, which was 11. So I was like, there's only 10 people. Oh, seems pretty exclusive. So I went along. Yeah, it was really lovely, but there wasn't just 10 people there. There was 10 people at 11, and then there were 10 people at 11:30, and then there were 10 people at 12, and I think 12:30. I think they had, yeah, about 5 time slots in that day, and I think they did them for 5 days. So we worked it out, so don't quote me on this maths of what I've just said, because we worked it out. It's probably about 350 people were scouted and brought along to those auditions. So if you think about that, and that's just people who are scouted, then as someone who's just auditioning off the streets, you have such a small chance of actually getting on TV. Granted, some people do. Some people actually do go the full way, but the ones that get on TV and the ones that actually get into the top 12 are pretty much scouted for the show. Everyone says, oh, it's a fix, and it is. I mean, if you think about it, like, I watched Jack and Joel's video on here about it, so they were the only people that kind of went in depth about it. They were on it last year. They were saying, you know, if you think about where people go in for a job and there's a job interview, a lot of companies headhunt for who they want for that job role, and I guess it's the same thing. These talent competitions, they're headhunting. It's the same with Love Island. It's the same with so many of them. A lot of people are scouted. They've got to find what they want at the end of the day, and they go out and get it. So we were there. It did feel very exclusive. I did feel special. It did feel very civilised. There were agents going around chatting to us. We were able to bring management as well, which was a bonus. I wasn't just on my own. Mum and Dad act as my management, so they came along. That made me feel a lot less nervous, but I was so nervous, I have to say. And funnily enough, I met Jack and Joel's agent and I happened to watch their video. Subsequently from that, I have met Joel and we went and had a little chat about it all and stuff, which was really nice. It was just such a weird coincidence that we happened to see their video and then their agent was there. You just kind of think, what are the odds, you know? So I went and did my audition anyway, and they were lovely. There were two guys in there, one guy from Psycho, one producer from the show. I sang Hello You, my story behind it, my backstory, my sob story was that the song is about anxiety, and if you wanted to watch a video, I did a video all about that, and also you can go listen to the song as well if you like. I sang that, and then I did a couple of covers as well. One on the guitar, one off the guitar. Had a good old chat. I was able to ask any questions I wanted to. They were very friendly, they were lovely. I did feel really comfortable. I would say it was a really good audition in terms of not just how I was, but I mean in terms of how comfortable I felt, how they put me at ease, how I was able to ask whatever I wanted to. I feel like they answered my questions honestly. You got a definite sense that the X Factor was a family, and you would be looked after if you were there. So all around positive experience for them. They said if you were shortlisted, then one of the researchers would get in touch with you and they would basically coach you through to your first audition. So the big one that you see on TV, you would have someone help you through that. You have to prepare 5 songs for it. I assume that's when, you know, when the people come round and they come to your house or they come to your work, or you do all the VT, like the videotape stuff before your audition. I'm assuming that's when all of that goes on. They said that the auditions, they were straight to the arenas this year, and they were happening in June and July. So that's what I was told. But, you know, it's one of these things, those auditions, it's you're here if you're through, but if you're not through, then you don't hear, which I think is so poor. You know, they say they don't have the facility to get in touch with everyone, but yet they have the facility to get in touch with everyone to invite them to audition. That's one thing I have to say, like, guys, come on, like, sort it out. Like, I have a thick skin, I've been doing this for a while, I find it hard, but for someone who's younger, they're just starting out, they might think this is it and they've got a big dream, and they might not be able to rationalise it out in their head as well as I can, and even I struggle. You fantasise, you really do, and it's just nice to be told thank you, but no. Anyway, that's just my opinion. And I mean, long and short of it is I didn't hear anything, and that's a shame because I did have a really good feeling about it, I'm not gonna lie. I was happy with my audition. I had to sign a release form just because they were filming my audition. I didn't have to sign anything else, and apparently you don't have to sign anything up until a 6-chair challenge. I saw a lot of horror stories about the contracts you have to sign, and you have to sign all your rights away, and I saw a lot of this online, but the only thing I had to sign was a release form so that they could film me for the audition tape, and that was it. Oh yeah, this is my little number. Am I allowed to show this number? I don't really know. But anyway, this is my number that I got given, and because I'm sentimental, I hold on to everything. So yeah, but unfortunately number 376173, it's a no from them. My audition for X Factor was in April. I watched the first 2 episodes of the X Factor at the weekend before I did this video, because I wanted to watch it before I did the video so I can give you my opinion on it. And Being someone who's not watched it for a while, I went back and watched a few of the clips from last year just so I knew what I was getting into, potentially. I can see why I didn't get on. It hasn't changed at all. The format is exactly the same. I feel like they had a big opportunity to revamp the show completely. You know, I don't know what they're going to do with the categories, but they could have a singer-songwriter category as well as the females, the males and the groups and the over 25s, which actually now I'm a bit concerned about because I'm nearly 25 and when I was younger I thought that was all old people. They've revamped the look of it, you know, they've got new judges, but the format is exactly the same. I could have predicted what every single person was going to do or going to sound like. Or you've got professional singer-songwriters out in the industry doing it for a living. I can't compete with that, you know? Or someone who's got a sob story or who's been on it before. It's a shame. The audition process was really good. I was really enthused by it. I did feel very special. When I watched the show, I realised fully why I didn't get it. They're scouting for a TV show at the end of the day. It's TV personalities that they want. Now moving on to The Voice. Now, like I said before, I auditioned for The Voice on their first series 7 years ago at ACM. They came around and they were like, there's this new TV programme coming out and that's not how people talk at ACM. They said there's new TV programme coming out. It's all about The Voice. It's not about how you look. It's different from everything else. It's different. So I went along and auditioned for it and instantly people were looking at me in the audition room, so I thought it's obviously not just about the voice, it's about what you look like as well. Anyway, I'm gonna sound really bitter. This one, okay. Again, I haven't watched The Voice in years, but I did watch the final of this year. So I know the audition process of The Voice already, but I thought when you were scouted it might have been different. Who knows? So in June, while I'm waiting for my X Factor call, or not, I had an email from a talent scout at The Voice. It did make me laugh, I'm not gonna lie. I thought, oh, here we are, this is the year of TV. ITV like me this year. So a scout from The Voice got in touch and said, did you ever think of auditioning for The Voice? Blah, 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 blah. Same old, same old. And after a few back and forths trying to get an audition date, I had to apply online. There was more terms and conditions that you had to sign then because you had to agree to the terms and conditions. One of the clauses, I mean, read them. Seriously, if you're going to go in for this, make sure you read them because you could just sign something away and you don't know what you're signing away. But I was reading all the clauses and one of them said that you can't audition for any other show until 30 days after you've been kicked off of The Voice. And obviously I didn't know whether the X Factor was happening or not, so I went back to them and they had to get in touch with their legal team to check it all out, but because I told them about it, it was fine. I then went and got in touch with X Factor and asked what was going on their end because obviously The Voice had got in touch and could I audition for The Voice and blah blah blah, and I was kind of sitting there thinking like, I can't believe these are conversations I'm actually having. It was crazy that a year ago I wouldn't have even thought of that being possible, so it was pretty mental. The X Factor said the whole typical thing, they can't say, they don't know, and unfortunately they haven't got the facility to tell everyone when they haven't got through, if they haven't got through, and blah blah blah. So they said just go for it. They said it's good to be amongst it all. So I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And I went along and auditioned. There's part A and there's part B of The Voice auditions. Part A is the one that I did the first time I auditioned for the first series. It's the most savage audition I've ever done, ever. It was horrible. You go in with 10 other people or however many it is. They basically point at you and ask you to sing and then they tell you to stop when they're done. And then you go down the line that way and you're listening to everyone, absolutely pooing yourself, listening to everyone else's voice. And then you go out of the room and they say, you and you step forward, the rest of you go home, you're through to the next one. Brutal. Right? I didn't get through. So I thought, well, I'm not going and doing that again. There was no point. I was sent straight to stage B, which was in front of a producer and a vocal coach. I went along, I had to go on my own, I wasn't allowed to take anyone with me. It was one of the hottest days. It was the day when it was the England semi-final in the World Cup. I go along and I get given my sticker and they were like, Hannah's on the list. And I was like, Yes, she is. Bearing in mind as well with the voice, I was a bit meh about doing the voice because I wouldn't be able to do my own songs. With the X Factor, I asked about my rights with my own songs and everything, and they cleared that up, and I would have kept my rights and everything, so I made sure that that was all clear. Yeah, I couldn't do my own songs at the voice, but again, it's airtime, you know, that's the kind of thing you have to think of. So I get given this one, and this has got a little S on it, which I'm assuming obviously is scouted. So everyone knows, and they were saying quite openly in front of everyone, oh yeah, this is the scouted list. So we've got these S's on us, and I knew that because we'd done our research before, on your labels, different stickers meant you got through different rounds. A yellow one meant you got through to round B, stage B, and then a green one meant you got through stage B to, I'm assuming, I think it was an interview stage or something. Anyway, I get there, la 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 la, I was waiting in this room, and my audition was at 11 o'clock. Long story short, I waited 2.5 hours to audition. By the time it got to my audition, I was done. I was hungry. You know, you can't go eating a full meal before you're about to perform. You had to make sure that your voice is still warm the whole time, but not overly warm because you don't want to wear your voice out. And it is exhausting being constantly on edge, ready to perform, like ready to audition. You can't relax fully, so your adrenaline's going and you have to be ready. Sod's law, I went to the toilet. I asked if I had enough time. They said I did and I got called. But anyway, I was like, really? Anyway, so it was my time to audition. I did it again. There was a vocal coach in there, one of the producers was in there. I did Portugal the Man, Feel It Still, and then I sang my own song afterwards, Hello You, again. Gave them a little sob story. Yeah, and then they were like, oh, thank you, blah blah. She looks over at the vocal coach, she was like, are you happy? And then she was like, yeah, and I could see the green stickers there. And a girl before me came out with a green sticker on. And then she got taken into a different room, and I was like, no, the green stickers mean I'm through to the next round. And she didn't give me a green sticker, and she gave me a letter about the callbacks and blah blah, and I was just like, I know I'm not through. So that was that really. With the X Factor, I felt very special. I felt like I was given special treatment. I definitely felt like I was scouted and invited. But with The Voice, I just felt like I was fodder. I have nothing against the show, but I was not made to feel like I was special, which is a shame. Hey ho, you know, that's my experiences that I had. I wouldn't do The Voice again. I've done it twice now, and like, it's, you know, the only reason I did it is I just thought, well, why not? My annoyance with getting scouted is I wasn't gonna do this anyway. I wasn't planning on doing them. I don't see the point in scouting people for something if you don't want them on the show. It's not like they scout 20 people and then 10 of them get into the top 10. That I can understand. But to scout 300 people is ridiculous. I think my point is that it's a lot of mental energy that you put into it when you weren't even going to do it in the first place. The X Factor was a really good experience. It really was. I feel like I benefited. I got contacts from it. I gained friends from it. Like, it was really, really, really good. The Voice, I didn't. I mean, you could say you gained the experience, but... So I just wanted to tell you guys really about it. I wanted to tell you guys my experiences with it really, because there wasn't really that much on here about it all when I was looking. So if anyone is actually going on or has been scouted onto it, I just hope that helps you a little bit to prepare you for it. I was so nervous before the X Factor one. I would have really liked to have had some more videos like this, like the Voice ones, and they helped gear me up a little bit more, so I was a bit more savvy with it going into it. I think if you're realistic, just because you get scouted doesn't mean that you're going to get on the show. And I think that is the annoyance as well, because you kind of think if you're invited to audition to something, you kind of think you've got a chance, and the reality is you haven't. It's just a bit of real talk. I hope you found this video interesting, informative, helpful. If you just wanted to listen to a little bit of what I've been up to this year, or if you have actually been scouted yourself, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your experiences. If you have been scouted as well, what was your experience like? Was it the same as mine? Was it different? Was it fun? Was it not fun? Let me know. Let's talk and educate. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give this video a like if you liked it and would like to see more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!